here on KNX at 10:15, a little less than an hour from now. KNX News Time, 9:22.
There have been a number of officials, of course, ever since this whole thing started last night, shortly before 6 o'clock, who have been calling for calm in the Southland. And one of those is Roman Catholic Cardinal Roger Mahoney.
Now is the time for clear heads to prevail so that the energy and anger of our communities can be channeled into creative avenues for dealing with tensions so obvious in our city.
Mahoney made his comments at a news conference at which he and other supporters of Charter Amendment F, the police reform measure, on the June ballot.
KNX News Time, 9:23. Fires set by rioters and looters continue to light up the Los Angeles skyline tonight. The blazes are stretching over miles of L.A. neighborhoods. Battalion Chief Dean Cathy of the L.A. City Fire Department says resources are being stretched to the absolute limit despite assistance from fire crews in surrounding communities.
They're giving us what they can at the present time, and we're waiting for some more of those resources to come in to help us get back on top of this. There was a point when we were actually kind of gaining on some of the fires, and now the people that are doing this are making what appears to be an all-out effort to stay ahead of us. And unfortunately, they're picking the time and the location and the place when they want to set these fires, and we're just forced to be able to try to react to and respond to those.
Chief Cathy, interviewed live here on KNX, says L.A. fire crews are working with more than 100 additional fire companies and have called up every piece of reserve equipment available. More than 3,000 fires have been reported today, and many had to burn unattended because of the danger to firefighters. The violence in Los Angeles tonight is preventing Department of Water and Power work crews from restoring electrical power to about 8,400 residents of South Central Los Angeles. DWP spokesman Deborah Sass is telling us she doesn't know when the area will get its electrical service back.
Really no time frame for us. We've only, that I'm aware of, we've only gone into the area once, and that was onto Vermont with police escort to restore power to a rest home where there were some residents that needed medical equipment for life support.
Sass says the utility company is trying to restore power through remote switching whenever possible, and crews are standing by, but they simply can't get into most of the neighborhoods without police clearance. And if you can just imagine that, imagine being in this South Central Los Angeles neighborhood, living in that area, and having no power at this point, no lights, being in the dark. It's got to be a very frightening situation for a lot of people tonight. KNX News Time, 9:25. Back to the Mid-City area now. Our George McQuaid is out there. George, what's happening?
I'm here at La Brea and Pico. Right behind me, I got a plaza that's already been gutted. I got helicopters up above me. You can hear the flames crackling across the street from me right now. I can't even read what this is. Here's a sign: La Pico Plaza, Fat Burger, Rentronics, and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 buildings. You can hear the flames still crackling. When I showed up here, it was just smoldering, totally engulfed in flames. No fire department, nowhere around here. I've got a couple of cars behind me. I got people still looting the buildings behind. I've got a guy by the name of, your first name is Michael? You don't want to tell me your last name?
No, I don't want to tell you.
Are you aware of the curfew on tonight?
Yes, I'm aware of the curfew.
Why are you here?
I'm actively defying the curfew.
Why?
On a matter of principle. But that's a long story. The point is here, this building right here is just about finished, it looks like.
This is typical. They loot, they set fires, they take off.
Yeah, that's the routine.
Why?
But
you tell me it's not the Rodney King?
Yeah, it's not the Rodney King.
Hey, what is it?
It's the fact that we have a police department with a stormtrooper mentality. If you're not driving in a new car, if you're not a white guy driving in a new car, you get harassed. I've got long hair, I drive kind of a beat-up car, but I'm a legitimate person. I work well, I get paid well, and I'm a legitimate person. When I get pulled over, it's hands above the car, get your hands out of the head, it's the full routine, lay yourself on the floor, it's ridiculous.
This place looks like a war zone, but you tell me this is one of the more quieter areas.
Yeah, it's relatively quiet. So anybody around here, once the fire started, people are gone. You know, they go in, they'll loot the place, and then they'll burn it, and then they're gone.
So it doesn't surprise you we're a block and a half from the police department, there's nobody here.
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much for talking to me. That's Michael. He doesn't want to give me his last name. He's from Venice because obviously he's breaking the curfew. And once again, the fires are still burning out of control. The typical thing to do: loot, set fire, take off, and move to their next destruction site. reporting live in the La Brea and Pico, George McQuaid, KNX 10-7.
George, if you can hear us out there, you mentioned that one gentleman that you talked to defying the curfew. How many others, or are the streets beginning to more or less be a little less crowded than they were earlier today?
Well, when I drove down here, there were a lot of people. I came southbound on Vine, just north of Santa Monica. And there were a lot of people on both sides. It looked like they were lining up for a parade or a show. Right behind me, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people. And I'm just looking out the rear quarter window of the KNX van. What they're doing is they're looking to see if there's anything left from the looters, probably the earlier ship that came by.
All right, George. George McQuaid reporting, and of course he is out among them, so to speak, and he will keep us updated. We received word earlier, of course, we told you about problems up in the Bay Area. Now there is word that San Francisco Mayor Frank Jordan has declared a state of emergency and has imposed a curfew from 9 p.m. tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The mayor made the declaration in a brief news release that was handed out to reporters in City Hall. He is now addressing the reporters. Hopefully we can get further word on that. But in San Francisco, the mayor, Frank Jordan, has declared a state of emergency. A curfew is in effect from 9 o'clock tonight, so it's been on for 30 minutes, and it will remain in effect until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
KNX News Time, 9:28. You're listening to KNX 1070 News Radio in Los Angeles. I'm Jack Salvatore, along with Barry Road, and we are, of course, bringing you continuing coverage of the riot situation in Los Angeles. Earlier this evening, actor and former KNX Man of the Year, Edward James Olmos, was in News Central with us. Mr. Olmos has been listening to the turmoil going on in Los Angeles and expressed his reaction to it.
And it's one of tremendous sadness. We're into a situation now that will definitely be one that we'll remember for a long time to come. Evening is starting to hit. We have to remember that this situation has been breeding for a long, long time. This didn't start with Rodney King. The Rodney King situation was just a matter of just one more thing that they could latch on to be able to behave in this manner. The situation is going to become really extraordinary with the National Guard coming in and with a lot of the children that are out on the street armed.
Edward James Olmos says that only one encouraging trend is visible, and that is that law-abiding citizens are getting off the streets. That does not mean the streets are clear, but as he observes, at least the law-abiding citizens are making their way off the streets. KNX News Time is 9:30. Again, we want to remind you that Governor Pete Wilson has arrived in L.A. He's taking a first-hand look at the devastation, apparently by National Guard helicopter. And in about 45 minutes, it's scheduled for 10:15. The governor will join Mayor Tom Bradley, LAPD Chief Darrell Gates, and L.A. County Sheriff Sherman Block at a news conference, which we will carry live for you at 10:15 here on KNX 1070. It'll be a news conference featuring the governor, Mayor Bradley, and the LAPD Chief, Darrell Gates, and the L.A. County Sheriff, Sherman Block. All classes and after-school activities in the L.A. Unified School District are canceled for tomorrow and through the weekend. Spokeswoman Diana Muñetones, interviewed live here on KNX, says Superintendent Bill Anton ordered the closures because of the violence across the city.
This closure tomorrow will include all school activities, including weekend activities, everything after school, adult education, those are all closed. And this decision to reopen schools, perhaps on Monday, you know, the superintendent and his crisis management team are surveying the situation, but they will make that decision on Sunday evening.
Muñetones says SAT exams are also canceled for thousands of students who were scheduled to take them over the weekend. Athletic events also called off. Again, the all-important SAT exams also canceled for thousands of students this weekend. KNX News Time at 9:31.
L.A. District Attorney Ira Reiner was live in our studios here at KNX earlier today, where he was critical of some of the police strategies thus far.
You can put enough people out there in order to have a presence so that this doesn't happen. When you only have a few officers and you move into one place and you calm things down and then move out and it just follows in behind you like the tide, that doesn't work. We do need more, and we do now have more. But martial law isn't necessary, and God help us if it ever comes to that.
Reiner says he wants everyone to know that his office profoundly disagreed with the King verdict.
L.A. City Attorney James Hahn, meantime, has announced that he will seek the maximum sentence for those people convicted of violent crime in connection with these riots. A weapons charge, he says, will carry 6 years in prison. Looting will carry 6 months in prison. Speaking live here on KNX 1070, Hahn compared the maximum sentences to the routine.
Normal sentences for petty theft, which could be one of the crimes in looting, can range anywhere from just a fine and probation to a short jail sentence. We are changing that policy. Our prosecutors will be asking for heavy jail sentences to send a strong message to discourage this unlawful activity.
City Attorney James Hahn says he will do all he can to make sure that the troublemakers are convicted. A couple of things we'd like to apprise you of, or reapprise you of. Problems in the Bay Area earlier today have led to San Francisco Mayor Frank Jordan declaring a state of emergency in that city. He has imposed a curfew until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The mayor made the declaration in a brief news release handed out to reporters in San Francisco City Hall. He is addressing reporters now, and I'm sure we'll have some of his comments before the evening is out. Also want to repeat once again these phone numbers that may come in handy for you if you want to grab a pencil and you have suffered some property damage to either your home or your business. There's a toll-free number set up, and the number is 1-800-870-1929. It's 1-800-870-1929. Councilwoman Rita Walters has announced a hotline for residents who need assistance. That number is 1-800-300-CITY. 1-800-300-CITY, City. And there is also a toll-free medical hotline if you need first aid information or perhaps a referral to a hospital. The medical hotline is toll-free again, 1-800-559-5252. 1-800-559-5252.
KNX News Time, 9:34. If we may, we will bring you right up to date on some of the stark figures that are involved with this disturbance. The L.A. County Coroner's Office reports now the unofficial death toll in the disturbances has risen to 22. At least 450 people have been injured. 300 have been arrested. National Guard troops have now moved into neighborhoods in order to try to quell the violence. In at least one incident, looters fired on the troops. Now, the report that we got earlier today from Governor Pete Wilson in his news conference, there was a problem, apparently, with ammunition. Because somebody asked him why the troops hadn't been sent out earlier, and he sort of dodged around the question as diplomatically as he could, and he said, well, there were some reasons, and one of them apparently had to do with ammunition. Where it was supposed to come from, who was involved with holding that up, still isn't known. But apparently the troops did arrive. They do have some ammunition, and apparently the rest of it is on its way. Someone then asked the governor, what happens if the troops are fired upon? Can they fire back? Well, again, he was being diplomatic, and he said, well, in some instances, and apparently it has to do either with commanders on the scene or the instructions that the troops get from the local officials. They're under their control, of course, as to whether they can fire back. Well, bands of people still roaming the streets at this hour. They are defying, as you heard just a short while ago, the dusk to dawn curfew. Arson and looting incidents are being reported in the Hollywood area, as well as Beverly Hills and San Bernardino. At least 30 fires are still burning. In Long Beach, there are reports of arson and looting, and one death as a crowd attacked a couple of motorcyclists. Also, beside the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles with curfews, and keep in mind the county, it's not all of the county, it's just selected areas where these disturbances are going on. But it's all the city of Los Angeles, and also we've received word now that curfews have been imposed in Hermosa Beach, Torrance, Inglewood, Compton, Culver City, San Fernando, West Hollywood, and Santa Monica, where, by the way, the beaches and the piers are closed. All weekend events and attractions on the beaches also have been canceled. So a number of other cities, Jack, in our area have also imposed curfews.
And the ripple effect continues to grow. KNX News Time, 9:36. Right now, we're going to take you back to the police command post at 54th and Van Ness, where our Lori Howell has been standing by. Lori, what's the latest?
Well, I and the other reporters just got a briefing from Captain Steve Gates. Daryl Gates' brother came out and talked to reporters. There was some information that he couldn't give us. He couldn't tell us the total number of injuries at this point, civilian injuries, nor could he tell us how many police officers have been injured, although another police officer told me earlier that not many police officers have been injured, but we're still curious with all the shots being ringing out. But he did have some other
I hope that we do have a master plan. The master plan, I don't know that I want to share all of it with you, but in a general sense, we are sectoring off the entire area, that we are patrolling in sectors. We're superimposing on that sector patrol with tactical units that will be involved in arrests. We have field command posts or field jail systems where we can facilitate the arrest of these individuals that need to be arrested. And basically that's the system we employed. We have the CHP that's assisting us with aiding the fire department from each place that they have to go to do their job.
Saying that they're still being tied up on escorting the fire department, that they're not able to get out to these scenes where looters are...
It's a monumental problem, and our first task, of course, is to safeguard our officers and to safeguard those that are involved in putting out these fires. And it is an overwhelming task, and it's the challenge that's before us. But our desire is to become proactive, and quite frankly, haven't reached that state yet.
The aggressive bottle throwing, shooting, what's happened there?
I don't know that that can be measured. We know that the situation has deteriorated to the point where there's far more aggressiveness than there needs to be, and I can't say that it's escalated or dissipated.
Does that include shooting at LAPD officers?
I don't want to get into the popularity of shooting at police officers. I don't know that that's increased. No.
How long are you guys going to hold back right in front of the officers? No attempt to stop.
The officers are told to use good judgment out there and not to proceed with an arrest when they're overwhelmed. They're not going to be making arrests inappropriately when it might cost them their safety. So we're doing things en masse. We're being very, very concerted in the way we're doing the police work. But we're going to do it with some degree of safety and minimize any foolishness.
So that is Captain Steve Gates, and as you just heard, he was addressing the question of why police officers are at the scene of looting and don't do anything about it. And as you heard, he said that they are not going to risk their own safety. And he also, I think, agreed or alluded to the fact that, yes, police officers are holding back when they can, either because they don't want to exacerbate the situation or because they know that they don't have enough numbers to handle it. You can hear in the background the sirens. Those are police cars that are heading out to their various areas. What happens is that police officers wait outside while their sergeants are briefed within the RTD headquarters, the terminal there. The sergeants come out, they get in the car, and that's the first that the officers know of where they're headed, and then they head out, usually a dozen to 2 dozen cars at a time. Reporting from the police command post at 54th Street in Van Ness, Lori Howell, KNX 1070.
All right, Lori, thank you. KNX News Time at 9:41. A couple of notes coming into KNX. Hughes Aircraft Company's LA County facilities will be closed tomorrow, but operations in Orange County and San Diego County will be open as usual. That is according to company spokesman Richard Dorr. He said about 30,000 people are employed by Hughes in LA County alone. And also, late word has it that citing the rioting as the reason, Carter Hawley Hale will close its downtown corporate office tomorrow and its Mission Road facility. 65 degrees, our temperature reading in Hollywood right now. I have an update on the condition of that truck driver whose brutal beating was witnessed by television viewers in the first few hours of the disturbances yesterday afternoon. Doctors at Daniel Freeman Memorial Hospital in Inglewood say Reginald Denny remains in critical condition, but he is now expected to pull through. Denny underwent 4 hours of neurosurgery during the night. Again, he is expected to pull through. As we have said a few times here, we, of course, have been involved in watching the pictures of this thing develop, and his story was probably one of the most chilling so far of what's been happening here. A man just pulled from his truck and beaten and kicked and left in an intersection to bleed into unconsciousness, and then having his pockets picked right then and there. It was a terrible sequence of pictures, if you will. But now it looks like he will pull through. There was a time we had a report yesterday that he had in fact died, but that turned out to be erroneous. And now they're just saying after several hours of neurosurgery, that Reginald Denny is expected to pull through, and it is a story that may give heart to some people who have been following this with a lot of sadness and a lot of apprehension. Also, they have set up a donation fund for Mr. Denny. Obviously, if and when he does pull through, he will need some help with the medical bills, which are bound to be astronomical considering his condition and the gravity of his injuries. The donation fund set up by Daniel Freeman Memorial Hospital. We have that address for you. I'll have to give it to you as soon as we can locate it amidst the mountain of papers that's developing here. KNX News Time, 9:43.
I'm just sitting over here, Jack, making some notes, and I don't want to prejudge anything, but undoubtedly, maybe somebody will bring this question up. When the governor and some other officials tonight at 10:15 are going to hold a news conference, Sheriff Sherman Block will be there, Mayor Bradley, and also Chief Darrell Gates. But the police official that Lori Howell had on a few moments ago, saying that apparently somebody asked him, why aren't the police, when you see the pictures on television, there's looting going on, we saw one earlier, there were police officers standing nearby, but they were outnumbered. And obviously, nobody can blame them. I mean, you're not going to go down there and holler halt and find yourself getting killed or beaten up. But in many instances, this has been going on, and we have seen and heard reports all day as to the fact that looting is going on. Police officials are literally on the spot, and nothing is being done. That's one part of it. Then we go to Governor Pete Wilson in Sacramento, and when he was announcing earlier today that, yes, the National Guard troops had been deployed, and that means they were going out on the street. That was at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and somebody asked him, well, are they going to carry ammunition? Then he got into the ammunition thing. Well, can they shoot back? Well, in some instances was his answer. The third question was, can the troops make arrests? And his answer was very quickly, no, they cannot. So we have National Guard troops, they can't make arrests. We have the local police enforcement people, they are not making arrests because they're outnumbered. Somebody's lost control somewhere, and I'm wondering if any one of these four officials that's going to be at this news conference is going to come up with an answer for this thing, because
I guarantee the question will be posed.
I would wonder if it would. I would hope that it would, because people are just roaming the streets.
And we will be bringing you updates. We are continuing with our coverage. We have reporters in various sections of the city, particularly in Hollywood of late, where there have been several fires raging, and into the mid-city area, the Wilshire Corridor. We will keep you apprised and continue to update you on the situation as we continue through the night. KNX News 9:45 again. That news conference that Barry alluded to is coming up in just about a half hour at 10:15, and we will carry it live for you here on KNX. It was more than 20 years ago that they were here during the Watts riots, the National Guard again on the streets of L.A., and we have more on that from our Alex Sullivan.
CAO Keith Comrie says that did not happen this time.
Following the 65 incident, they waited for a day before they asked for help. LAPD waited a day before they asked for the National Guard and the Highway Patrol. In this instance, within the first hour, those decisions were being made. No matter what the eventual result was, they'd better get back up immediately and process, because it takes time to get here. And they did do that. They did learn from the 65 experience, but no matter how fast they moved, as the fire department reported, 3 fire calls a minute just overwhelmed all of the resources they had available.
That's Keith Comrie, Los Angeles City Administrative Officer. And Mayor Tom Bradley outlined National Guard contingency plans.
If we need more, more will come. And it is anticipated that the 2,000 that was suggested yesterday may indeed not be enough. And if we need more, more will come. I am concerned that people of this city understand the gravity of this problem and the valiant effort that we're making to deal with it. Last night, we declared a curfew area, limited area covering the south central part of the city. Today, Chief Gates told me that the looters and the arsonists were leapfrogging over the lines beyond that curfew zone, and we're going to other parts of the city. And he asked that I now change that to impose a citywide curfew.
Mayor Bradley admits that'll be an inconvenience and could affect business, but says it's necessary for public safety. Alex Sullivan, KNX 1070.
KNX News Time, 9:47. Word coming into KNX News Central that federal officials are saying the downtown Federal Building at 300 North Los Angeles Street will be closed tomorrow. Also, the L.A. area of the Office of Housing and Urban Development will be closed down. All Los Angeles District Post of Duty functions for the Internal Revenue Service will be closed tomorrow. And if you were planning on taking a trip to the Getty Museum in Malibu, officials there say that facility will be closed tomorrow as well. At 9:48, we're checking back with George McQuaid. He is in the Mid-City area. George? George, can you copy us? Okay. All right, obviously a slight technical problem. We will try to reestablish communications with the Mid-City area and get that report from George McQuaid on what's happening there. Meantime, smoke from the fires in Los Angeles was part of the reason for some delays at LAX. Apparently, the haziness over LA forced the air traffic into a small entry corridor. That means that planes are circling and delays have been lengthy. FAA spokesman Fred O'Donnell says there are also other concerns for airplane passengers, and that specifically is gunfire.
A bullet can kill someone in that airplane just as easily as it can on someone on the ground. And we wanted to get the aircraft high enough to preclude the possibility of a bullet striking one of those airplanes.
This action was taken on advice of the LAPD because of some random gunfire in the area. We emphasize, and so does Mr. O'Donnell, that there was no report of any aircraft actually being hit by gunfire. It was merely a precautionary measure that they have narrowed down the number of access routes into Los Angeles International Airport, primarily coming in from the ocean now is where they're bringing them, but that has backed up arriving flights, and many flights have been canceled. Your best advice at this point is if you have to meet someone at the airport or if you are taking a flight out of LAX, better check with your air carrier before you make the trip out the door. O'Donnell reminds us that the reason for the delays have been as long as 4.5 hours. And as far as the curfew is concerned, the LAX officials also remind us that if you are stopped by law enforcement authorities, possibly thinking you may be violating the curfew, simply show them your airplane ticket, and that should be good enough reason for you to be on the streets tonight in exemption to the citywide curfew.
I was hoping, Jack, that we could get a hold of George McQuaid there pretty soon, because we've been observing television, and they have had, as they have been doing since last night, a lot of aerial shots from helicopters, and it appears in some of them that where there are fires on streets down in South Central LA and also in the Hollywood area, that apparently the curfew is working to some extent because there's very little traffic out there, and there are a number of fire units now that are pulling up to these various fires, and they are quite well surrounded by LA police units. So apparently the curfew is working to some extent, and they are beginning to get a handle on some of these fires down there now without being pelted by rocks, as we have heard, and shot at and everything else. And I was, as I said, hoping that we could get a hold of George McQuaid to maybe get some kind of an answer, see if he's got a first-hand look down there, wherever he is. But,
well, we'll try to get back to George. Right now, Chuck Whitten is in the Mid-Wilshire area. Let's see if we can reach him. Chuck.
Yes, I'm at 3rd and Vermont right now. I drove down Vermont from the Hollywood Freeway, and almost every store along the route was vandalized, had been looted, or was on fire. And I'm at the Ralph's supermarket here, where the police department is distributing food to National Guards people who are stationed at various locations throughout this area. They're taking in the food and changing some of them, changing the guard with some of them. But they're obviously these National Guards people are hungry, and basically they're providing them with the food. Live in the Mid-Wilshire area, Chuck Whitten, KNX 1070.
All right, Chuck, thank you. KNX News Time, 9:52, 64 degrees, our temperature reading in Hollywood now. Church leaders in Los Angeles
not over the dinner table, not in the boardroom, not in the playground, nowhere. We must condemn violence, make no apology for the rule of law, or the requirement to live by it. Yes, in some places in America, we should the cycle of poverty and despair. But if the system perpetuates this cycle, then we got to change the system.
President Bush urging everyone to show restraint and to respect people's rights and property. Meantime, Republican presidential contender Pat Buchanan is calling for a strict crackdown on looters and arsonists in Los Angeles. Buchanan, interviewed live on KNX from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, says he's been following the events in L.A. closely, along with the rest of the nation.
Rioting and looting and arson and lynching, dragging people out of their trucks and cars and beating them to death. And the first thing that has to be done is to restore peace and order in a civilized community, and whatever force needs to be used to accomplish that and put an end to the arson and all the rest should be used.
Pat Buchanan says he can't understand leaders who want to discuss what caused the violence. He says the first priority must be to stop it and to restore order. KNX News Time, 9:54. Again, bringing you up to date on some of the basic information surrounding this story. The violence rocking Los Angeles tonight. The L.A. County Coroner's Office reports the unofficial death toll in the disturbances has risen to 22, and that may go to 23 very shortly. At least 450 people have been injured, and more than 300, in fact, closer to 380 people have been arrested at this point. National Guard troops have moved into neighborhoods to try to quell the violence. But in at least one incident, looters fired on the National Guard troops. Bands of people are still roaming the streets, defying the dusk to dawn curfew. Arson and looting incidents are being reported in the Hollywood area, as well as Beverly Hills and San Bernardino. At least 30 fires are still burning. In Long Beach, there are reports of arson and looting, and one death as a crowd attacked 2 motorcyclists. Governor Wilson has ordered an additional 2,000 guardsmen to duty in Los Angeles to back up the first 2,000 now on the streets of L.A. Arizona Governor Fife Symington says Wilson asked him for National Guard equipment. He quotes Wilson as saying the situation in Los Angeles is out of control. Well, he may get a first-hand picture of that because Governor Wilson reportedly has been touring the riot-ravaged areas of Los Angeles by National Guard helicopter. And he is scheduled, along with Mayor Tom Bradley, Sheriff Sherman Block, and LAPD Chief Daryl Gates, to make an appearance at a news conference coming up in just about 20 minutes at 10:15. KNX, of course, will carry that briefing live for you. Governor Pete Wilson, along with the mayor, the LAPD chief, and the LA County Sheriff, scheduled to hold a news conference at 10:15. KNX will carry it live for you. Besides Los Angeles, curfews have been imposed in Hermosa Beach, Torrance, Inglewood, Compton, Culver City, San Fernando, West Hollywood, and Santa Monica, where beaches and the pier are closed. All weekend events and attractions on the beaches in Santa Monica have been canceled. KNX News Time, 9:56.
As we have been reporting, San Francisco Mayor Frank Jordan has declared a state of emergency and has imposed a citywide curfew. It is in effect now and will remain so until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. The mayor made the declaration a short while ago as looters were hitting the downtown stores. Reporter Tyke Gage arrived to find people smashing windows and dragging merchandise out of stores.
A lot of windows broken. Shop owners are trying to clean up their streets because there's a lot of broken glass out here. People kind of started getting restless, which is why the police came in and came out in riot gear and had quite a procession on motorcycles.
Reporter Tyke Gage in San Francisco. We have word that at least 150 people were arrested during violent confrontations in San Francisco.
KNX News Time, 9:57. They've been having their problems in San Bernardino as well tonight in the KNX Inland Empire.
The stores were completely gutted, and just moments ago I interviewed one of the L.A. County fire officials as people were looting in the background, as you'll hear.
George McQuaid from KNX. What's your name, sir?
Captain Chuck Bender. Chuck, you guys have been just like putting out fires left and right now. This is a midtown shopping area. Tell me what we've got going on here.
Well, the Wilshire District Police Department is right down the street, and they're a little concerned about that. So we've just been moving. This is our 4th fire that we've been on. And we just move to try to knock them down, get them down as best we can, and then move on. We're not really extinguishing anything, but we're overhauling completely because we just can't do it.
You haven't done this kind of work in a long time, have you?
It's been a while. I was on the Turnbull fire when Whittier earthquake was in my area, so it was pretty devastating, but there's nothing like this. This is just amazing.
Can you step out on the curve here and just describe what we got going on here? We got a couple of fires on both sides of the shopping. All the stores have been looted, of course. We got flames billowing out of the back end of this side and on the other side, and then we have a 76 gas station across the street on fire.
Right. We just don't have the manpower to handle all these incidences, so a lot of them we're just letting them burn out. especially if there's no exposures around the areas. Like the gas station across the street is just one big lot. So we went ahead and let that burn out.
All this in a matter of about 4 minutes. As soon as I got done talking to him, he was talking on a payphone. Bottles started flying. I moved the KNX van, and this is the 4th time I've moved it. I'm down the street, away from the crowd, away from the police station. But you know what? People are walking all over the place. You can't even tell there's a curfew. And every time the police move away from the shopping area, hordes of people run across the street, grabbing carts full of goods that they've ripped off from the stores. Reporting live in the Wilshire District, George McQuaid, KNX 1070.
KNX News Time at 9:09. The LA County curfew boundaries have been expanded. In case you haven't heard to this point, the new area is bordered by the Long Beach Freeway on the east, Santa Ana and Santa Monica freeways to the north, the San Diego Freeway to Crenshaw, to South Lomita Boulevard to the west. I better repeat that. And Lomita Boulevard to the south. Again, that's the Long Beach Freeway on the east, Santa Ana and Santa Monica freeways to the north, the San Diego Freeway to Crenshaw, to South Lomita Boulevard to the west, and Lomita Boulevard on the south. The RTD has canceled all bus and Blue Line train service until tomorrow morning to encourage riders to remain safely in their homes. And the Long Beach Transit Company has been shut down at this hour. It'll be closed, shut down at least until tomorrow. Virtually all municipal and superior courtrooms will be closed tomorrow. The Department of Motor Vehicles temporarily has closed 6 field offices in the area of the disturbance. All over the Southland, as we've been telling you about, and you've been probably seeing and hearing about, schools, stores, shopping malls, and other businesses have closed early because of the unrest in Los Angeles. Many schools have canceled classes for tomorrow. There's word of heavy delays for incoming flights at Los Angeles International Airport. On the advice of the LAPD, the FAA has changed some incoming flight patterns, and the receiving rate, as it was explained to me, that's the rate of arriving aircraft, has been dropped from an average high of about 85 aircraft per hour down to 25 or 30. And that, of course, is backing things way up. Earlier this evening, we had incoming arrival delays of as long as 4.5 hours, and also delays on departing flights as well. KNX News Time is 9:11. The violence has spread to San Francisco. Joan Ravier with Bay Area Metro Traffic says protesters in downtown San Francisco started out demonstrating peacefully, but then things got out of hand.
The crowds that were gathering in the city seemed to get motivated towards violence, and we have reports of looting going on as well in the downtown area. We had one of our helicopters over, and he says that the police are out there in mass, but so are the protesters.
Ravier says, in addition, protesters marched onto the Oakland-San Francisco Bay Bridge and conducted a sit-in. The bridge was closed down at 3:30 this afternoon. Another demonstration near San Francisco State University forced the closure of Interstate 280 for a stretch of time. Barry?
Jack, residents of South Central L.A. have been experiencing phone problems today because of the huge volume of calls going into the area. Pacific Bell says 240,000 customers are experiencing these problems. A spokeswoman says it may take some people in the area up to 15 minutes just to get a dial tone. Customers in downtown L.A. also have had delays in calling out. We might mention that earlier we had a story about ARCO, speaking of downtown L.A., and ARCO says it's going to close several of its facilities tomorrow because of the unrest. No business at the ARCO Plaza, that's in downtown L.A., the ARCO Products Building, that's on 7th Street near downtown, the EIS Center in Pasadena, and the Transportation Center in Long Beach. Or the ARCO Refinery in Carson, they say, will be open. And, of course, we have been telling you throughout the day about school closures, and we're going to run down those for you in the next few minutes. In fact, I guess we can do that right now. Here is the latest that we have. Los Angeles Unified School District is announcing all schools and most of its offices and centers will be closed tomorrow. LA Unified School also closing all adult schools until further notice. Also closed schools in Compton, Linwood, Inglewood, Torrance, Bellflower, Long Beach, Paramount, and the Palos Verdes Peninsula Unified and Weisburn districts. Cal State Dominguez Hills has canceled classes for the rest of this day. Cal State Northridge has canceled night classes. Cal State LA is closed until Monday. University of West Los Angeles School of Law and Paralegal has canceled classes. The library also is closed. Pepperdine University's Corporate Point facility in Culver City canceling classes through the weekend. The University Park campus of USC is shut down, but USC's Health Sciences campus in East LA is open, although some classes there have been canceled. So you would probably be advised to call the school to check out to see if your classes are in session tomorrow or over the weekend. All UCLA extension classes canceled for tonight. UCLA's downtown center, that's on South Grand Avenue, closed until further notice. Now, the following community colleges are closed until Monday. Los Angeles City College, Southwest College, Los Angeles Trade Technical School, and West Los Angeles Community College. Night classes are canceled at Santa Monica City College and Glendale Community College and Pierce College. Loyola Catholic High School and St. Catherine of Siena in Reseda is going to be closed tomorrow. Other schools closing because of the violence: Mount St. Mary's College at Adams and Figueroa and the Doheny and Chelan campuses. Loretto Canati High School, Catholic High School, Loyola Law School, Alpha Preschool and Elementary School, Pasadena Waldorf School and Altadena also closed tomorrow. Our Savior's Lutheran Elementary School closed tomorrow, and the Saturday Carnival and Sunday Spring Sing have been postponed. And we have this word from the Los Angeles Community College District. All 9 campuses will be closed until Monday, and all events, athletics, concerts, and the like are canceled. So we had given you some of the community colleges. Now they've sort of made it a blanket thing. All 9 campuses closed until Monday. All events, athletics, concerts, and the like also canceled.
KNX News Time at 9:15. You're listening to KNX 1070 in Los Angeles. Residents of South Central LA will be able to receive some important mail tomorrow. Here's Bill Seward with us in KNX News Central with the details. Bill?
Well, Postal Service will be open at 9 post office in South Central Los Angeles on Friday for residents to pick up their Social Security and county checks. Identification will be necessary. These post office will be open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They are the Colonel Washington branch of the 4300 block of South Central Avenue near Vernon, the Wagner office in the 2200 block of Century Boulevard near Van Ness, the West Adams branch in the 4900 block of West Washington Boulevard, also the Dockweiler office in the 3500 block of South Vermont, the Hancock branch in the 8200 block of South Vermont Avenue, the Broadway Manchester office in the 8500 block of South Broadway, the Crenshaw branch in the 3800 block of Crenshaw Boulevard. Also on Crenshaw Boulevard, the La Tijera office, that is on the 5400 block, and the main office at 7001 South Central Avenue. There will not be any carrier delivery from these stations. Once again, to pick up a Social Security and or a county check, identification will be necessary, and the offices are open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Reporting live from News Central, Bill Seward, KNX 1070.
Important news for a lot of people in the area. Thank you, Bill. KNX News Time 9:16, and right now we're going to head back up to KNX Chopper 1070 pilot Bob Turr somewhere over L.A. Where are you, Bob?
I'm over the Beverly Center right now, and I'm trying to do is get a feel for what it looks like someone stepping on it. Keep broadcasting anyway. We've done an overview of the area. We've gone from the area of La Brea and Santa Monica Freeway all the way to Huntington Park to Hollywood, and now back over to Hollywood. From our aerial perspective, we've been able to see that the streets are fairly deserted, if not entirely deserted.
All right, Bob, it's getting a little untenable. Maybe we can get to a little better area where we can get a little better reception from you. Breaking up quite badly. That's KNX Chopper 1070 pilot Bob Turr. We'll get back to him as soon as we can. KNX News Time 9:17. Cinco de Mayo celebration scheduled for this weekend in downtown Los Angeles and other areas of the city canceled. And performances of the Shrine Circus at the Shrine Auditorium have been canceled for tonight through Saturday. A toll-free number, we might remind you, has been set up for people who have suffered property damage to their homes or businesses. You want to get a pencil and write this one down. This is a toll-free number that's set up for people who have experienced property damage, either to their residence or to their place of business. The number is 1-800-870-1929. Again, the hotline number is 1-800-870-1929. Councilwoman Rita Walters has announced a hotline for residents needing assistance. That number is 1-800-300-CITY. 1-800-300-CITY, City. There's also a toll-free medical hotline if you need first aid information or hospital referrals. That number is 1-800-559-5252. Again, the toll-free medical hotline for either first aid information or hospital referrals. The number is 1-800-559-5252. We'll bring you those numbers again in the next few minutes. Several emergency relief centers are open for people left homeless or in need of help because of all this unrest. There are Red Cross shelters at First African Methodist Episcopal Church in South Central L.A. and Roosevelt Park at 7600 Graham Avenue in the Florence area. Catholic Charities has shelters at St. Catherine Alexandria Center. That's located at 934 West 70th Street. And at St. Peter Claver Center, 4202 West Jefferson Boulevard. Also, reminder that in sports, there have been some changes because of the rioting. Hollywood Park is closed today and tomorrow. Tonight's Clippers playoff game at the Sports Arena against the Jazz is postponed, along with tonight's Dodger game against the Phillies. All Unocal 76 and Northrop Corporation offices in downtown L.A. Will be closed tomorrow. Several ARCO facilities, including the ARCO Plaza in downtown Los Angeles, also will be closed tomorrow, along with facilities in Pasadena and Long Beach. The ARCO refinery in Carson will remain open. Right now, Chuck Whitten is out and about in Hollywood, and apparently, as he is finding out, looters are taking just about anything. Chuck?
That's right. Right now I'm parked across the street from Man's Chinese Theater. I had information that it had been shot up, but it doesn't look like it has been. However, right across from that is a Radio Shack store. As I was sitting here waiting to go on the air, some gentleman walked out of the store with a box full of goodies. And now I see two more gentlemen walking into the store and entering things up. I'm right in front of the store. They can't possibly miss me, and they just blatantly walked in there, and there's a security guard for the Hollywood Center here nearby, and there's nothing anybody can do. Several stores along this block have been vandalized and looted. Strangely, two tourist centers, where you get the maps for seeing the stars' homes in Hollywood, have been vandalized and looted. Why anyone would want to vandalize and loot those kind of stores, I have no idea, but they have pretty well destroyed these very small tourist shops that are located here. It's just unbelievable. You asked before about the people on the streets. There are still people here, not nearly as many, and I think the police are just sporadically stopping them